I'm Jessica Ann Pressler, licensed clinical social worker, coming to you from the West Coast. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, Jessica. And I'm Sylvia Puentes, registered nurse and faith-based coach and mentor, coming to you from the East Coast. If you enjoy our videos, please hit the subscribe button.
So today we're getting together on YouTube as we have um, often, but with a more personal touch. We're discussing our journey after 50 for me and after 40 for you. And the journey I'm speaking about is getting up and packing up and moving across the country, different directions. I went from the East Coast to the West Coast, and you went from north to south. And I thought it would be helpful to discuss our journeys for other people who may be at a place in their life where they are contemplating huge changes. What do you think?
Yes, I think that it's very helpful. Just we share our experiences and our perspective, and just if we could be a source of help for anyone out there, that's our goal.
So, both of us started in New Jersey. And I think both of us spent our entire life until this point of our change in New Jersey. For me, it was I never moved anywhere outside of a 50-mile radius, and maybe even much less than that, not even in college or graduate school. How about you?
Yeah, well, I was born in New York City and I lived there for the first 6 years of my life. But from the age of about six until I was uh, 46, I lived in New Jersey and in basically the same area. Yeah, less than 50 miles, 20 miles, I think, from, where I originally lived as a child to where I ended up as an adult with raising my children. And so the change has been a big change.
So, at 46, what brought you from New Jersey to Florida?
Well, I felt that it was something God was putting in my heart to make this transition. I had thought about it for some time, but it wasn't really anything. It's just like I had a contemplative thought about it.
Mhm.
But a year before I moved, it became a little more of a reality for me that this would be happening. And then I did meet someone who was in Florida, and we were in a relationship, and I thought that that would be part of the move. It didn't work out that way, but nonetheless, I really felt this pulling to make the move. And I knew that if I didn't, I would always look back and wonder, what if?
Mhm.
And I don't generally like to have those what ifs. So I made the move a year ago from New Jersey to South Florida to Florida.
Very brave of you to make that move. And I know that you have children still in New Jersey.
Yes. So my children are young adults and they ultimately decided they wouldn't be coming. And the pull that I was feeling was so strong that I made the move without them. So that made it very difficult. But again, I really felt like, God was drawing me to Florida. And so I felt that it was a definite move that I needed to make. And so the transition has been a little more challenging because my children did not come with me,
Mhm.
and I miss them very much. I don't, I came to a place alone where I didn't really know anyone.
So hard.
Yeah. So, and then, and doing it later on in life when you're so established where you are or where you have been, can feel fear, can be scary. But uh, again, I knew that it would be something that I had to do, and if it didn't work out, I could always go back.
Right. That's something to remember. No one's, well, most people are not stuck. That if
Right.
you do make a major life change, most people. I mean, there's some changes that are harder to change back, but you can make another change after that.
Right, right. So, I love it here. I just would love it more if I had my children here with me.
Mhm.
So, but you know, they come here or I go there and we get to spend time together. But you know, these transitions can be scary when we're, especially, you know, later on in life when we have so many other things to consider. You know, the younger that we are and we decide to make a major life change like this, I think there's sometimes less, you know, less of a route or
Mhm.
less things. But again, you know, there's a good scary, and then there is like that paralyzing fear.
Mhm.
And, you know, the key would be to kind of know, differentiate between the two.
Mhm.
Um, because I know that for me, most of the new things that I've done, you know, anytime I do something new, there is some fear involved.
Well, it's always important to be mindful of how you're feeling to be able, to know if it feels right. But again, as you pointed out, to know the difference between what normal anxiety is and fear of change, and what feels wrong. And
Right.
and sometimes maybe even talking it out with a friend if you can't figure out what you're feeling. But important to you know, feel that.
Yeah. So how was the transition for you?
Well, okay, back to feeling, because I'm going to tie it together.
Mhm.
It is important to make choices that feel right. So I have spent a good chunk of my life making many choices, obviously, and some of which were ruled by my traitor within, which we'll talk about another time. But were always I always felt where I was fitting a round peg in a round peg in a square hole. No, a square peg in a round anyway, it felt wrong. And I was always trying to make it better and change things and try to make it work, and it never worked. And there were only three things in my life that I have felt were just perfect, a round hole and a round. You know what I mean? It went in. And one was having children, two was choosing to be a social worker and working as one, and three was getting up and moving to California, because California is my home. I didn't know it was my home until I moved here, but it is my home. I felt like me here. I mean, I had a few friends that when I said I was moving to California, they got it without even, they knew
Mhm.
enough about me to know this is where I would be. And I didn't even know what that meant, meaning I couldn't even, I have an idea, it's like hippie-ish group, whatever, and all that stuff, and the nature. And I got that, but it's more than that even. It's grounding for me here. It's just, and so when I was in my 20s, I realized that I loved the West Coast. I fell in love with Colorado. And I'm not talking about the cities like, Denver or Vail or Aspen. It was a little town called Breckenridge. And I really could see myself living there. And as I got older, and mostly because my son wanted to go to California, I started exploring California and realized that was it. And that was where I wanted to be. So as soon as I made that decision, which was probably 7 years before I actually made the move, or 5 years before I made the move, or something like that, I just waited until I could go. And that's when my smallest child graduated high school. So I have been blessed with having two of my three children here in California with me. So I don't have the exact same struggle you have, but I still do have one in New Jersey who I was absolutely positive was going to follow me out here as well, or follow us out here as well. But I'm pretty sure now I'm just coming to realize that she will probably stay in New Jersey. She has a phenomenal job and a life there.
Right.
But so that's something where I do understand you, and that leaving a child,
Mhm.
and but so that part is sad for me. But thank God for planes and FaceTiming and other ways to connect, and but it's not the same. So I
Yeah.
do understand that pullback, but there is nothing that would make me move back to yeah, New Jersey. It just, it doesn't feel right for me. It never felt right. So,
Yeah.
so I got up. So when she graduated, I was 50 something, and I left my phenomenal job in hospice and all my friends that I've collected since I was a child, and although physically she got in the car with me because we drove across the country and took 10 days, which was unbelievably wonderful adventure. It was a wonderful adventure, and moved out here and never looked back. I mean, everything about this state for me is just heaven. It is physically gorgeous. It is spiritual. It is just where I belong. So
Yeah.
happy I
Yeah.
made the choice.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as long as I've known you, you talking about um, moving to California. And I mean, I didn't want you to go, but I understood that you needed to go.
Mm-hmm. And so, we were talking about, so later in life, making these choices. You and I made it as two single women, because
Right.
I, know that there are people that do move to Florida from New Jersey or from, that tri-state area and make that move, but they usually do it when they retire and go with a spouse. So where they may leave their adult children, their children then are getting married and having lives of their own, they move with a spouse.
Right.
So making this choice as two single women with, I mean, no job, nothing. We had, right? You too,
Right.
we
Right.
have no idea what was going to be at the other end. But
Yeah.
yet I had no choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way that, I had no choice. I really, even if I would ultimately go back, I really felt that I had no choice but to leave. And it was a hard choice to make, but yet um easy at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Get it?
Easy, well,
Mhm.
yeah, because I knew that I was supposed to come, but it was what I was leaving behind or who I was leaving behind.
Yeah, that's hard. So what
Yeah.
kind of advice would you give someone who is midlife, and making, it doesn't have to be a move, but some major change in their life?
Well, I would say just to if you're feeling a little scared or you're feeling a little apprehensive, as long as you know that that apprehension is due to change, um do it scared, but do it anyway.
And there is something about closing one door, or not even full close, because our back, we still have friends and everything that are in family, like and open, but it opens another door. Look what we're doing right now. We're reaching
Yeah.
out, and we're two, you're in Florida, I'm in California, but together we are still, thank you social media, thank you internet and all that, we're still able to start helping people this way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've made connections here that have really touched my life, and vice versa.
Mm.
And who knows, maybe that's the reason why I'm here. But yeah, do it scared, but do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. I actually have no regrets. Do you?
No, I have no regrets. I knew that if I didn't, I would have that regret of, did I do the right thing? Is this, what if?
Well, I know that when I've helped hospice patients near the end of their life, uh, it's very sad when they do have the what ifs.
Yeah.
So as long as for the most part, you're never stuck. That if your what ifs are done and then you decide differently, you most likely can go back or open another door.
Right. Exactly.
And
So
look to friends for help and support, as we've always said, and just be authentic, be you, make choices that are good for you.
right. Yeah. Absolutely. That's 100%. Make choices that are good for you, that feel right to you. And because I think that in all of this, there we get back to something that we've talked about a lot, which is, what's our purpose here?
And it takes a lifetime sometimes to realize what that is.
Right.
My time is up. So thank you, Sylvia, for joining me today.
Yes, my pleasure. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.